On News Hour tonight.
44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49.
Counting and sorting underway in FCT Council polls amid low voter turnout. Rivers voters expressed confidence in AMAC as Kano attributes low voter turnout to Ramadan in by-elections. Kogi primary, secondary schools resume Monday, February 23rd. Another foreign thing, European Union official raises alarm over Eastern DR Congo. Good evening, this is News Hour on Trust TV. I am Shamaka. We'll start off with the happenings of the day here in the FCT, the council polls. The 2026 FCT Council elections in Bauchi Area Council recorded low voter turnout and widespread complaints over misplaced voter names. Trust TV's Noel Samson monitored the exercise across several polling centres and reports that turnout fell short of expectations.
Election day in Bauchi came with high expectations. Many had predicted a strong turnout across polling units. But as several centres visited, most polling units were nearly empty with only electoral officials and materials on ground. At LEA Primary School, Duse Alaji, a centre with 22 polling units, the story was the same. Few voters showed up. The only noticeable crowd gathered around the units where the APC chairmanship candidate voted. A similar scene played out at Duse Sangwari Primary School. The APC chairmanship candidates, election observers, and voters raised concerns about the conduct of the election and the logistical issues encountered.
My card is getting defaced, and after this election cycle, I should redo my voter's card so that next time it will be seamless.
How optimistic are you in winning the process?
The people at the grassroots, they need to take local government elections seriously because the local government council belongs very close to the people.
My own voter's card now, I've tried to check my name. I was unable to see my name. It's 001. I've checked all the 001 around here. I was unable to find my name. I think that is the only issue I'm having. And it's not only me. I think there are some other people here, mostly the 001. And I think the mistake they made this time around was, like the previous elections, what they usually do, the names usually come alphabetically, but this time around the names are scattered. They are not well arranged, unlike the previous elections.
You can see that there's so many booklets there. People are not turning up. Then the arrangement of the names, they're very, very poor. You know, Nigerians, we need to do better. We cannot take our life and our future very, very careless. You know, when you vote, you're voting for your life. These people, we're putting them in charge of our life. So when we sit down and we complain every day, it's not going to help us. People are not coming out.
Yeah, it started as scheduled, but along the line, some voters started struggling with regards to finding their names, understand, on the pasted list on the wall. Some are struggling, like my record here. There's one Mohammed Tijani. He saw his name. He saw his name on the pasted list, then went for the beavers. The beavers could not bring out his details, so they did not allow him to vote. So he has been disturbing since morning.
From the Duse houses, Trust will move to LEA Primary School, Shafa, a center with 12 polling units. Turnout there was slightly better. However, in other parts of Bauchi, low turnout persisted. Across most polling units visited, voters complained that their names were either missing or placed in different units, forcing many to move from one center to another.
Morning time, there were delays in machines picking up, but so far so good now. The situation has been stabilized. And in the morning time, the population was not much. A lot of people were already discouraged by what is going on social media when the ruling party is collapsing structure. So people are already saying the election has been determined. So making them fear to come out. If election has been determined by the ruling party, why should they come out again and cast their vote? But we have encouraged them, we have sent out our supporters to tell them they should not fear, they should not panic. This is FCT. This election is going to serve as a litmus test to 2027 election. And I've seen lots of international observers here, and I'm happy about that. Our security agencies so far in whichever are cooperating and other places too. And I hope that the process continues like this to the end.
I want to tell each and every one of us, our supporters, that they should be calm and wait for the announcement of the result. Yes, by the grace of God, APC will be victorious in this election. And I want them to know that if today Supreme Court has did what they did, it is Supreme Court, but they are not God. God can still do what he feels.
It has been good. It was not long ago. I just went there, I saw my name and I voted.
Though it was stressful because this is my first time voting. So when I came, I went to the police center. I did not find my name there. I went to Market Square. So I got my name there. I voted there.
As of filing this report, counting has begun in several polling units. Trust TV observed that some electoral officials appeared uncertain about the process of uploading results from polling units to the Beavers device. In a few centers, party agents also sought clarification before results were transmitted. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, voters in some polling units across Wuse under the Abuja Municipal Area Council participated in the just concluded election in the FCT. Our correspondent Dorcas Yakubu, who reports from polling units in zones 3 and 4, says the polls went on smoothly from accreditation to voting. Her report.
It was an early start for residents of Wuse zones 3 and 4 as voters arrived at their polling units ahead of accreditation. Officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission arrived with both sensitive and non-sensitive materials, setting up ballot boxes and beavers machines before voting commenced. Accreditation began shortly after 8:30 a.m. with voters forming orderly queues under the supervision of security personnel. The biometric verification process ran smoothly in most of the polling units visited, although a few voters reported minor delays.
My expectations on this election is to see things thrive for the average Nigerians and let there be a successful one. Let there be no rigging because all eyes is on INEC. So I applaud their strength. It's not easy. So we expect much and we expect good governance and let the people's vote count.
In fact, though it's going on seamlessly without problems, but I must tell you that for someone to get his name is very, very difficult. Like myself, there are 10 polling units here in GSS, Wuse Zone 3. I've gone around even up to now. I can hear some minutes past 8. I've not been able to trace my name. That is the issue I think we are encountering here right now.
The voting process is going on smoothly, although very, very slowly. I'm surprised at this level. This is not the first time we are doing this same type of voting. And the issue of presenting yourselves and identifying yourselves and going to cast your vote is very, very slow. Even sometimes after casting your vote, they have to capture you. I think that by now we should have reached a level whereby your name is out, they will get your details and you vote and just leave the scene.
Security personnel were deployed around the polling centers to ensure a peaceful exercise, while party agents monitored proceedings in line with electoral guidelines. However, a chairmanship candidate of the African Democratic Congress attributed the low voter turnout to the restriction of movement allegedly imposed by the minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike.
Well, you can see on ground zero here, very low voter turnout. And you can ascribe this to what the minister said, yesterday. There was no need. I've been here for about 40 years. We've never had a case where almost declaring a state of emergency for no reason a night before, the elections, local council elections. For AMAC, it has always been peaceful. We've never had any, chaos. But to now begin to change the cultural narrative of what we've enjoyed here for all these years into a very chaotic, making it look very, tense. It's uncalled for. That's what I would say.
Although there was low voter turnout, Trust TV could not independently verify the allegation at the time of filing this report. A representative of the APC expressed confidence in the electoral process.
We have cast our votes and the election is very successful and it is very transparent, and we're hoping at the end of this exercise our chairman will come back for the second time in our own party, the APC. Both the councillor and the chairman, inshallah, who will win.
Despite the concerns raised, voting and counting proceeded peacefully in the polling units visited. Although some polling units recorded low voter turnout, electoral officials said the process remained orderly and free of major disruptions. At polling unit 076 Wuse Zone 4, Sani Abacha Estate, the ADC chairmanship candidate Dr. Moses Paul won in his polling unit, securing the majority of votes cast. The polling unit had 454 registered voters with 10 accredited voters. The ADC polled 7 votes while the APC secured 2 votes. 1 vote was declared invalid. For the councillorship election at the same polling unit, the results were the same as the chairmanship outcome. At Government Secondary School Wuse Zone 3, voter turnout was also observed to be relatively low compared to previous elections, although accreditation and voting were conducted smoothly. AMAC officials assured voters of a free and fair election.
Been very peaceful. Yeah, as you can see, the environment is quite calm. Everything is going on well. People are just going about their business, even though there is a curfew, but yeah.
Okay, we AMAC, we always try our possible best to see that the elections are free and fair and the elections are credible.
Residents expressed hope that the overall outcome of the election would reflect the will of the people. Dorcas Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Still staying with the FCT elections, the chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council and candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Christopher Zaka, also known as Mekalango, recorded a wide margin victory at his polling unit in Saturday's Area Council election. Habiba Tajai tells us more in this report.
Voting and counting at polling unit 004 Gariki village proceeded in a calm and orderly manner. Electoral officials arrived early and accreditation began without delay. Voters were attended to in batches, while party agents observed the process. Sorting and counting were done in open, with ballots displayed to party representatives and voters present. At the end of the exercise, the APC candidate Christopher Mekalango pooled 228 votes. His closest opponent secured 15 votes. Earlier, Mekalango cast his ballot at about 10 a.m. and expressed confidence in the conduct of the election.
You know, let me tell you, this is a local government election. And local government election is meant for local people. And that's why we come to remote areas, you will see the turnout is different from that of the city. From Gargi down to Niger. You can see it yourself. My people are out to vote. So everything is okay. And the process is just smooth. In less than 3 minutes, I cast my vote.
2 voters who spoke to Trust Television described the process as peaceful and transparent, noting that officials followed laid-down procedures.
This is my house, so I've been here since yesterday. So the way I'm seeing everything now, everywhere is cool. The vote is going smoothly. As you can see, everywhere is calm. If this place is not calm, we will not be here. Me and you will not be talking all these things.
And I saw the woman, she told me, I think she's like maybe a woman of 50 plus. She told me she was the first voter here today. I was impressed. She casted her vote first. So if a woman that is 50 plus could do that, how much more we young people? If we want to decide our future, I think it's better that we take the bull by its horns. And I think in Gariki 004, this polling unit, I think they are very politically conscious. They are conscious, and because they've been early, they came out early, they are interested in the votes, they are monitoring. In fact, even the elderly people, the elderly ones, they are monitoring the votes.
This is Wuse Government Secondary School Voting Center. We have 3 polling units. They all claim to witness voter apathy. Especially, the 061 claimed to have 15 voters since 8:56 the exercise had begun. There's allegation of vote buying by some voters. The security operative present here stepped into the matter to douse the tension. As counting ended at polling unit 004 in Gariki village, supporters of the APC candidate celebrated the outcome. Collation of results from other polling units across Abuja Municipal Area Council is ongoing. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, was on the ground to monitor the council elections that held across the 6 councils of the territory. Wike's first point of call was the polling units in Lagos Street, Gariki 2. While monitoring activities there, he noticed some traders who opened up for business and immediately directed them to close up and obey the electoral guidelines. He urged them to be good citizens by going out to vote and exercising their civic responsibility. Wike was encouraged Chief's Palace, among other places, to monitor the ongoing elections. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Joash Amopiton, is assuring residents of the FCT that their votes will count in the council poll, reiterating that the results would be electronically transmitted to the INEC result viewing portal, IREV. Now, Amopiton gave the assurance while monitoring the FCT council election on Saturday across some polling units in Abuja Municipal Council, AMAC. The INEC chairman explained that the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, is working efficiently. Amopiton said the e-transmission is in accordance with extant laws. He praised officials of the commission for the early deployment of election materials, adding that so far the polls have been peaceful across the FCT. According to him, the credibility of the FCT area council elections will strengthen confidence in grassroots democracy, particularly as the nation prepares for the general election in 2027. The FCT election is one of Amopiton's first major assignments since assuming office as the chairman of the electoral umpire in October 2025.
So far as the efficiency of the BVAS is concerned, I am very satisfied because the BVAS they have worked effectively and efficiently. And from what I have taken from the assistant presiding officers, it takes about less than 5 seconds to even accredit a voter. And you can see from here there's large turnout. So meaning that a lot of people are becoming aware of the need to come and cast their votes. So far I can say that the election is well organized. The election is peaceful. From the calm atmosphere you have seen, you can see a lot of people here and they are conducting themselves well. And I learned that there are about 30 security personnel that are present here, and they are also conducting their affairs in an orderly manner. So we hope at the close of the poll, we'll have a very successful election. Well, I have talked about the BVAS. If the BVAS works very well, it will guarantee the integrity of the whole system. So if you are not accredited, you can't vote. When you are accredited, you can cast your votes. And BVAS working effectively means that you can transmit your results.
A young girl was arrested at Lear Primary School, Kabusa, on Saturday morning after she was found holding the voter cards of about 20 people she claimed were given to her by a woman in her area. According to the girl, the woman is not an INEC official, adding that she did not know her personally. A man who tried to intervene and stop the police from taking the girl into custody was also handcuffed and arrested, a witness disclosed. Voting at polling unit 001, which started at 8:50 a.m., had seen slow turnout with only 175 of the 2,044 registered voters accredited by 12:33 p.m. Officials noted that the units, which previously had multiple sections, including a special unit for persons with disabilities, now operates with just one for the AMAC elections.
Sorry, I get fast. Even if you don't sit down with me, I'll go.
You got a where is
Reactions trailed the elections. Yiaga Africa has issued a statement saying the FCT area council elections were largely peaceful but marked by low voter turnout, late opening of polling units and administrative lapses. Presenting its preliminary report in Abuja, the group said accreditation and voting in most observed units began around 10 a.m., particularly in parts of AMAC, contrary to guidelines. It noted that while the Independent National Electoral Commission deployed key materials, some polling units recorded missing voter registers, absence of voting cubicles, and late delivery of items. Yiaga Africa also raised concerns over the relocation of polling units without timely notice, which it said caused confusion and congestion. The group further reported incidents of vote buying and heavy security presence in some areas. It urged INEC to ensure transparent collation, timely upload of results to the IRF portal, and improved voter communication. Traffic gridlock broke out around Kano Bridge on Saturday after soldiers restricted vehicle movement as part of security arrangements for Saturday's elections in the Federal Capital Territory, Nigeria. The restriction caused heavy congestion around midday as commuters traveling between Kano and the Abuja city centre were caught in the standstill. Both commuters heading to the city centre and those traveling towards Kano were affected, including accredited election officials on assignment. At the scene, about 4 military Hilux vehicles were stationed on the road with heavily armed personnel positioned around them. Some motorists attempting to reach the city centre were forced to turn back towards Kano, while others travelling in the opposite direction were redirected. Security agencies had deployed personnel across strategic locations in the FCT to maintain order during the area council elections. However, the movement restriction at Kano Bridge resulted in significant disruption to road traffic. Still with election matters, but in Kano State, by-elections triggered by the deaths of two NNPP lawmakers late last year were held this Saturday. From early morning, election materials were distributed without delay, but by midday, low voter turnout had become the defining feature of the exercise. Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports.
The by-elections followed the deaths of two NNPP lawmakers in December 2025. Aminu Saad Ungogo and Sarki Aliu Daneji both passed away the same day. Residents confirmed the timely arrival of ballot boxes and other election materials with no delays reported. However, by midday, low voter turnout was evident across several polling units visited. People are coming out little by little. We think it's because of the fasting, but we have cast our votes as we desired.
The
voting materials arrived on time, but people did not turn up because I feel they do not believe it is a major election.
There are less people coming for the election, and so far there is not any problem. We are not encountering any problem, and we are not facing any problem with the beavers or other equipments.
First of all, I think the timing, maybe Ramadan. Second, I think the general feeling that this is a very small election involving only two candidates, very few parties, 9 contesting.
Despite the low turnout, security personnel maintained a visible presence, ensuring calm and order at the polling stations.
That is our duty, to deploy adequately, and we have done it. And we continue providing security of life and properties during the election, before the election, after the election.
INEC's resident electoral commissioner Abdul Zango also responded to questions regarding the absence of major opposition parties on the ballot paper.
We have not received any accusation or anything. That they are not participating is entirely the responsibility of the parties. We don't decide who participates. Whoever does primary, send his candidate, upload it, if you like, satisfied all the necessary guidelines as contained in the Electoral Act, is a candidate.
With voting concluded and collation in progress, attention now turns to the electoral umpire for the announcement of the winners. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Over in Rivers State, residents of Ohada East Constituency 2 in the state turned out for the latest by-election amid a largely peaceful and orderly atmosphere. With seamless technological verification and a visible security presence, stakeholders expressed renewed confidence in the electoral process.
Across several polling units, accreditation and voting commenced smoothly, with voters describing the exercise as well-coordinated and hitch-free. Although some units experienced a slow start, attributed mainly to farming and fishing activities, many residents noted a marked improvement compared to previous elections.
With what our experience so far, there is hope. I know the election, subsequent election, with what we have seen, will be better than previous election. There is hope.
As a member of the society, I'm entitled to cast a vote, and I have my voter's card. So, my experience, well, it was well organized. I can see they gave me, as I appeared there, they accredited me and gave me the form to go and cast a vote. And I went there and I cast a vote to the party I know.
At least with this voting today, I know, I think AMAC is doing a different thing altogether. At least with this one, it's better than before.
Enter into the hall. They checked my name and they marked me. They captured me. And they said I should go. I'm free to vote. Then I went and voted.
The candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Ukalipe Napoleon, described the process as credible and transparent. Napoleon, who cast his vote at Ward 9, Unit 1 in Obele Community, Ahoada East local government area, commended the peaceful conduct of the election.
The process I'm seeing today is impressive. We're happy. I'm happy. I'm overwhelmed seeing what is going on there. I gave them my card, my voter's card, my picture appeared, they snapped me, everything appeared, I went and voted. Very simple. So every person should be patient.
Executive Chairman of Ahoada East Local Government Area, Solomon Abubachoma, said adequate security arrangements were deployed to ensure a smooth and peaceful exercise.
For us, there has been some sensitization, but for me, I think what we need to do, I think INEC, as time goes on, should come out more. A lot of town hall meetings should, so that they can educate our people, on the process of voting. So, but for voters turnout, I think it's quite impressive. In terms of security, you can see that we have placed all our machineries on ground. There's no way that we will leave this place without putting our men on ground. You can see how peaceful the place is. Everybody's out here to cast their vote. So in terms of security, we don't have any worries. Thank you.
Despite the calm atmosphere, minor challenges were recorded in Ward 8, Unit 9. Voting was briefly delayed due to a lack of furniture, but the issue was quickly resolved by local authorities. There were also minor technical glitches during early accreditation, which officials say were promptly addressed.
The forthcoming election with the use of beavers will be more, the result will be more authentic, because these beavers tells you how many that have been captured from each unit. Now we've accredited 21 voters, and so it gives you the accurate number.
Well, we've not had a lot of people coming in so far. At first, when we came, they were not responsive, but now, thank God, there are people trooping in. Even though it's not much, but at least they are coming in and we are attending to them.
Officials confirmed the result will be transmitted electronically using the BVAS system and also documented manually to ensure transparency and credibility in the final outcome.
Away from elections to security matters, suspected Boko Haram terrorists last night attempted to invade Niger village in Borno local government area of Niger State. The attack occurred not far from Kunkoso village, where several residents were recently killed in a similar assault. Eyewitnesses say the gunmen had already begun setting houses ablaze before local vigilantes mobilized and confronted them. The vigilantes reportedly engaged the attackers and successfully repelled the invasion, preventing further destruction and possible loss of lives. Residents have expressed relief over the swift response, even as concerns persist about renewed insurgent activity in the area. Authorities are yet to issue an official statement on the incident.
nan wuta suka sa gaba ɗaya
Over in Kogi State, the government has directed all primary and secondary schools to reopen for activities on Monday, 23rd February, with immediate effect. The Director of Basic and Secondary Education, Matthew Eri Salami, disclosed this in a statement made available to newsmen on Saturday in Lokoja. Earlier, the Kogi State government had ordered temporary closure of schools across the state for 2 weeks, starting from 4th February, claiming that the move was to safeguard lives and property. According to the State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fowle, the temporary closure of schools across the state was a purely preventive decision taken on the basis of credible intelligence and the overriding need to put protective measures in place around schools to safeguard pupils, students and teachers. This was followed by the statement of the Kogi State Chairman, National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, Pastor Ruben Jimo, directing members to comply with the order immediately. However, the State Ministry of Education, in a statement signed by the Director, Basic and Secondary Education, Matthew Eri Salami, directed schools to resume on Monday next week. Troops of Operation Hadinkai have rescued 3 children abducted 2 months ago and neutralized 5 ISWAP terrorists in a fierce battle in the early hours of Saturday in Borno State. The Media Information Officer, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, who disclosed this in a statement on Saturday, said an 18-year-old terrorist also surrendered in Gaidam, Yobe State. Sani explained that the 5 terrorists were neutralized when the troops made contact with suspected Jazz ISWAP members around Sabsawa village in Borno State during a fighting patrol. He further noted that in a similar operation, troops of Operation Hadinkai under Sector 1 deployed at Ngurusoye rescued 3 abducted children. The children, he said, have been handed over to the Nigerian police for further necessary action. He, however, stresses that across other sectors of Operation Hadinkai, troops in an aggressive posture conducted offensive operations in collaboration with hybrid forces, vigilantes and hunters to deny terrorists freedom of action. This is still the news hour on Trust TV. We'll return from the break. Take a look at Eastern Basari residents decrying lack of access road. Stay with us, the news continues. Welcome back, thank you for staying with us. Now a recap of our top stories. We told you that counting and sorting underway in FCT Council polls amid low voter turnout. Also told you that Rivers voters expressed confidence in INEC as Kano attributes low voters turnout to Ramadan in by-elections. 2 more stories. A major push to improve child survival rates in Nigeria is underway with promising signs from Sokoto State. A joint monitoring team of federal and state health officials have concluded a week-long visit to assess a program that uses cash incentives to encourage mothers to vaccinate their babies. Amina Ibrahim has more.
In Sokoto State, A tangible shift is happening in child health care across primary health care centers in 18 local government areas. Mothers are responding to a simple offer: bring your baby for routine immunization and receive a cash reward. I vaccinated all my kids because it prevents them from sicknesses. It's good for women to vaccinate their kids because it prevents them from getting diseases. The program is implemented by the All Babies Are Equal initiative in partnership with government health authorities. Eligible caregivers receive 1,000 naira for each routine immunization visit. The support is meant to cover transport and time away from petty trading or farm work. Mothers who complete all 6 visits receive an additional 5,000 naira livelihood grants.
We thank you for this intervention you have brought to our people. May God bless you all. We pray everything becomes success.
As of the end of 2025, the figures tell the story. The program has supported over 3.6 million vaccine doses and disbursed more than 1.4 billion to nearly 250 families across the states.
Makasudin wannan ziyara da muka kawo mai shine domin mu ƙara ƙarfafa haɗin gwiwar.
We came here to strengthen our cooperation.
An 18-member team drawn from the Federal Ministry of Health, the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, and the Sokoto State Government completed a 5-day monitoring visit. The team ascertained progress and reviewed coordination among partners. Before now, mothers barely support this kind of initiative, but thankfully, they do now. The team noted that health workers carry out vaccine vital checks before every session to confirm potency and safety. They also commended the integration of health education into the payment progress, saying it reinforces long-term behavior change beyond the cash incentive.
I just come for an oversight to see what the program is doing, how it's been implemented, and the impact it has in the states. We currently are operating in 11 states, and Sokoto happens to be one of them. And in Sokoto State, we are operating in 18 of the 23 local government areas.
High-level resolutions followed the visit. Officials called on state governments to create dedicated budget lines for immunization support and urged consideration for expansion into more local government areas.
It is not good for children to fall sick because of lack of access to healthcare services. So this initiative will help.
The new incentive, All Babies Are Equal, they are one of our active NGOs. So at this time around, it is time for us to come and see where they are implementing. Actually, they've been in the north, especially in the about 12 or more states in the north.
The joint monitoring visit ended with a renewed commitment from federal, states, and non-governmental partners to strengthen coordination and sustain the gains recorded so far.
From our discovery, since we came, we discovered that they promote, or will I say support, the uptake of vaccination in babies. So they encourage them to come out for vaccination like BCG, Penta 1, 2, and 3, and also measles.
The resolutions reached during the visit are expected to guide the next phase of implementation with one clear target: no child left behind in the fight against preventable diseases.
Despite the relative calm returning to Basari local government area of Katsina State, residents of Eastern Basari say peace alone cannot rebuild their lives. After years of insecurity, thousands now face another battle: the absence of basic infrastructure. With no reliable road network, entire communities remain cut off from markets, schools, and healthcare services. Trust TV's Abdullah Yamidi visited the area and reports on a struggle that continues long after the guns have fallen silent.
This is the Shirigi stream, stretching nearly 30 kilometers. It serves as the only link between Basari town and about 15 neighboring villages spread across Basari, Kurifi, and Batagara local government areas. For decades, The stream has been both a lifeline and an obstacle. Communities such as Chidawaki, Dadin Kowa, Shirigi, Mai Karen Sharu, Mai Karen Alewa, Makera, Gazari, Kokiya, Dullu, and Karare depend on this fragile route for survival. During the dry season, residents cautiously navigate sandy tracks carved across the stream bed. But once the rains begin, the water levels rises and entire communities are cut off. A trip to the market becomes risky. Getting to school becomes uncertain. Reaching a hospital becomes a race against time. We have peace now, but we need development. Without a road or a bridge, our future remains uncertain. This road is our lifeline. It connects us to the economy, to healthcare, to schools, to everything that sustains us. Without it, we are cut off. We are pleading with our political leaders to hear our cry and construct this road. Farmers form the backbone of Eastern Batsari's economy. Known for irrigation and wet season farming, they produce grains and vegetables supplied to markets across Nigeria. But without a motorable road, their harvest often turns into heartbreak. Instead of trucks, ox carts haul heavy produce across unstable sand. Delays lead to spoilage. Profits disappear, and hard work goes unrewarded. Even security operatives face similar challenges. At one point, a vehicle belonging to the Katsina State Community Watch Corps became trapped in the sand during a rescue mission, underscoring the depths of the infrastructural gap. I passionately appeal to the relevant authorities to urgently come to the aid of Eastern Batsari. This road is not just important, it is critical to the socio-economic survival of residents in Kurifi, Batagarawa and Batsari. We need action without further delay. During the rainy season, we are completely cut off for nearly 3 months before reconnecting with the rest of Batsari. Yet, this area is the agricultural heartbeat of the local government. If we cannot move, the economy cannot breathe. Residents say more than 1 million people have endured this hardship for over 3 decades. For them, the Shirigi stream is no longer just a waterway. It is a symbol of neglect. They acknowledge the improving security situation in Batsari, but they insist that peace must be followed by development. Without proper bridge or access road, they warn that the fragile stability in Eastern Batsari may not be sustained. For the people of Shirigi and surrounding villages, rebuilding their lives requires more than calm skies. It requires access, opportunity, and connection. Until then, this stream remains both a pathway and a barrier in their daily struggle for survival. Abdullahi Isma, Yamadi, Trust Television News, Kaduna.
Now over in Kaduna State, Governor Obasani has distributed 600 transformers and accessories across all 23 local government areas, declaring that access to electricity will no longer be a privilege. The governor also deployed 10,000 solar-powered street lights to communities across the state.
At the flag-off of Phase 1 of the distribution, Governor Sani said the electrification drive is aimed at boosting economic activities and strengthening small and medium enterprises. He highlighted that the government is enabling welders, tailors, cold room operators, ICT hubs, and manufacturers to operate with dignity and predictability.
Without reliable power, development is stunted, security is weakened, and opportunity is constrained. We are flagging up phase 1 of the distribution of 600 transformers and accessories across the 23 local government areas of Kaduna State. But today I want to remind us, this very important project is a collaboration between the local government and Kaduna State government.
The governor emphasized that electricity must no longer be limited to a few urban centers, but is the right of every community. He described power as the bloodstream of modern society, essential for hospitals, vaccine, preservation, lighting classrooms, supporting industries, irrigating farms, and sustaining small businesses, the backbone of the economy.
This is not an isolated intervention. It is part of a deliberate, structured, and statewide strategy to rehabilitate damaged distribution networks, replace vandalized equipment, and restore functionality to communities long neglected. Electricity is not a luxury. It is the bloodstream of modern society. It powers our hospitals and preserves vaccines. It lights our classroom and expands the horizon of our children. It drives our industries, irrigates our farms, and sustains the small businesses that form the backbone of our economy.
Governor Sani also disclosed that his administration has completed previously stalled power projects and initiated new ones since taking office nearly 3 years ago. In the health sector, under the stalled Indian Exim Bank initiative, 190 out of 225 primary healthcare centers now have solar mini-grid installations, delivering 1.35 megawatts of clean energy. He further noted a landmark memorandum of understanding signed on October 22, 2025 with the Rural Electrification Agency. The administration is advancing a 1.5 megawatt project for Kaduna Polytechnic and an 18 megawatt allocation for Ahmadu Bello University's area. Governor Sani reaffirmed that electricity is central to economic growth, education and healthcare, promising that every community in Kaduna will have reliable access to power.
Now, circling back to the earlier story of Bauchi State, where the governor has pledged to transform the state's agricultural sector through a comprehensive policy roadmap aimed at revamping the entire value chain from production to processing and marketing. Here's more in this report.
Governor Bala Mohammed assured the people that he will reposition agriculture for sustainable food security and economic growth, saying Akuyam district is a potential arable land for irrigation. He noted that the initiative is strategically positioned to strengthen food security, create jobs, and stimulate rural development.
That directly benefit farmers. This is not rhetoric, it is an investment and it is the truth. We are always believing in saying the truth and not deluding and deceiving people. We want tangible and measurable achievements. We are also leveraging strategic partnerships. Bauchi is participating in the World Bank supported Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone, the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project HELPRESS, and the federal government's National Agricultural Growth Scheme, Agro Pocket Acts AP. Through OCP program that is based in Morocco, we have conducted soil fertility mapping to guide fertilizer use scientifically.
Earlier, the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Elias Ugital, and other notable stakeholders assure farmers of the timely distribution of farm inputs emphasizing government's readiness to ensure a smooth and productive dry season farming cycle.
Ensuring that extension agents are present in communities, guiding farmers on improved practice, climate-smart agriculture, pest management, and efficient input utilization. We are also expanding farmers' schools and demonstration programs to ensure that knowledge is practical and measurable. Our women farmers are increasingly integrated into value chains, especially in processing and aggregation.
We also call on our people to continue to support government at all levels, remain law-abiding, and actively participate in initiatives and promote peace, unity, and sustainable development. In conclusion, on behalf of the chairman, the council, and the good people of this area, I once again express our profound appreciation for influencing the halted position of the Deputy National Vice Chairman of our great party, the PDP.
Other traditional rulers who graced the occasion appreciated the governor for his commitment in transforming the state through agriculture. Highlights of the event was the symbolic distribution of farm implements to irrigation farmers across the state. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Over in the business scene, the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria have described Executive Order Number 9 of 2026 as a bold reform to strengthen fiscal discipline in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. In a statement, Petroleum commended President Bola Tinubu for signing the order, which requires all oil and gas revenues due to the Federation to be paid directly into the Federation account. The directive also suspends certain revenue retention provisions under the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, including the Frontier Exploration Fund and NNPCL management fees on profit oil and gas. Petroleum said the move will enhance transparency, eliminate leakages, and improve budget implementation, while reinforcing the commercial orientation of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Away from Nigeria, EU Commissioner Hajda Labib visited Goma on Friday as part of a regional tour, describing the humanitarian situation amid ongoing fighting as catastrophic. The European Commissioner for Equality, Preparedness and Crisis Management called for respect for international humanitarian law, warning of increasing violations in the region. It was the first time a European delegation traveled to Goma since it was captured by M23 AFC rebels during a rapid offensive in January of 2025. And in sports, let's have Adini Ajishafe.
Confederation of African Football (CAF) has confirmed that video assistant referee VAR technology will be deployed from the quarter-final stage through to the final in both its premier inter-club competitions. CAF disclosed that VAR will be operational in the knockout rounds of CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup as part of efforts to enhance officiating standard and ensure fairness in decisive matches, a move aimed at improving the credibility of match officiating as competitions approach crucial stages. In the same directive, CAF urged all qualified clubs to nominate stadiums that meet the required technical and infrastructural standard necessary for hosting matches. The governing body emphasized that selected venues must satisfy high operational requirements, including facilities capable of supporting VAR technology, adequate lighting, security arrangements, and overall compliance with CAF regulations. Clubs are to ensure home grounds meet stipulated benchmarks or risk being directed to alternative approved venues for their quarter-final fixtures. And still in football, Super Eagles will feature in a four-nation invitational tournament in Amman, Jordan during the month of March, FIFA's main international window. The mini tournament will kick off between Super Eagles and the national team of Iran at 17,000 capacity Amman International Stadium on 27 March. Jordan and Costa Rica will face off at 62,000 capacity King Abdullah Sports City Stadium, also in Amman, while on 31st March, host Jordan take on 2025 AFCON bronze medalist Nigeria at Amman International Stadium as Costa Rica tackles Iran at King Abdullah Sports City Stadium. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
That's it for News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news programs, documentaries, to follow social media platforms and our YouTube live stream. Well, news production desk, thank you for joining us tonight. I am Chiamaka. Good night.